that it's in, if you go to Apostolic Church, you know they're bound to do what? They're going to change the key at any moment, on the spur, modulate, and if you don't understand the basic structure of the song, you're not going to be able to flow. You're going to be lost. And not only that, it makes you feel some type of way like when you can't get it. And I'm not saying that we get everything right, but we have to understand when you're studying a song and you're practicing, understand how are they approaching this. Okay, so I understand right here they're doing this chord, study that so you can translate it into any key, okay? That goes not only for musicians and singers too. Singers, don't just be a singer. Learn your keys too. And I'm going to tell you why. A musician will play you if they know you don't know your keys. They will play you. They will psych you out. Learn your keys as singers. That is very, very important. Learn the scales. So as a singer, you can tell a musician, hey, I need you to go to 4 right here. This is where I'm going. I need you to go to 4 with me. Flow with me, okay? Or go to the 6. Singers, you can do that. So how do you do that? Start with your major scales. Just start there, singers. Start with your major scales. On your scales, you have 7 notes in a scale, all right? 7 notes. Learn all the degrees of the scales so that when you are singing and you have a musician that may not be familiar with your song, you can lead them along the way. You be like, okay, we're going to 6. Have hand signs. It's not gang signs. 4. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to do that. How do you do that? You say, well, I don't have a music teacher. Okay, guess what? Somebody say, Google is your best friend. If I knew, or if I had the resources 20 years ago with the internet that we have now, oh my God, there are so many resources. Like musicians, y'all know gospel music shops, all that kind of stuff. They'll break down the theory for us. Hear and play, show me that. Like, come on. There's no excuse why we can't get it. Even if you just Google the C major scale on the internet, you can Google it right now while I'm talking. It's going to pop up. And it's going to show you the scale. How to approach the scale. It's going to show you all of that. It doesn't matter. So there are resources. You just got to be willing to put in the work, okay? There's resources. All right. Next, I want to talk about in our churches, we have this thing, and especially in the apostolic church, we feel that, and I don't mark me, on this, but we feel that because we are saved and sanctified, that it stops right there. No. Now, you're going to have to take your teams outside of the church for extra training. Take your teams outside of the church. What we've started doing is sending our teams, if conferences come up for like media, we let our media team know there's a conference coming up for this so that they can prepare to be at that conference. Because you don't have all the resources within your church. You don't. And so it's okay to go out to get the knowledge, get those resources, and bring them back home. Now here's the challenge. Every time you go out, just know that it takes time for things to change. It takes time for things to change in our ministries. Because when we've been used to doing things for so long, change has to be implemented in small increments. And prayerfully in small increments. Because everything that works, we go to the Pastors and Leaders Conference that Bishop Jakes does. Everything that works for Bishop Jakes won't work for my church at Bethesda. Some things I can do, some things we can get away with, but then other things you got to kind of just wait. Let time have its course and see if that fits the ministry and the vision of your house. Okay? This is still going back to becoming a student of your gift, because it's more than just playing, it's more than just singing, it's more than just working the sound ministry, it's more than just dancing, it's deeper than that. Also, becoming a student of your gift, we're talking about music ministry. How many of y'all know y'all pastor's heart? It is so important. You cannot be an effective participant in the music ministry. We're talking about becoming a student without knowing your pastor's heart. Not only just knowing his heart, you know it. Knowing is one thing, but to honor his heart and to flow in the vision that he has for the house. That's a whole other set of things. Because it's deeper. You can't just have a musician that just only comes to the church to just play, but you don't want to, while the pastor's preaching, you got your headphones listening to your next gig, as they call it.
That's right, come on.
You're not a student of the gift for the love of music, no. We call those hirelings.
That's right.
All right? Effective music ministry, when you bring in people, and I have made some mistakes because, you want to fill positions and all that kind of stuff. So you bring in folks, they can play, but they don't have the heart of the leader. Get them out of your ministry. And sometimes you have to be honest with yourself and say, I made a mistake, and that's okay. But fix it. And the next time, be prayerful about who you have come into your music ministries. Scope people out. Do some background checks. Call their pastors that they played for. If you can't get to their pastors, they come from a mega church. Somebody has been connected to them. Perhaps the minister of music or the worship pastor. Somebody knows them. There is a character reference on everybody.
That's right.
There is. That is so important, because if you don't have the right people in the right places with the right heart in ministry, it can limit what you're able to do in ministry, and you will find yourself walking into roadblocks because you got the wrong people on your team. We're still talking about becoming a student. It's deeper than just playing, singing, working the sound, dancing, working the video camera. It's deeper than that. Having the heart of the house. We don't get the opportunity to do it our way.
Come on.
Everything that we do it as unto the Lord. So if you have a vision other than the vision of the pastor, you're definitely in the wrong place.
That's right.
And you're not going to be able to serve successfully in that ministry. And it would be better for you to go ahead and remove yourself, because I don't believe in bucking up against leadership, period. It's against God's standard. You need to be in a place where you can serve and where you can honor God and honor the leaders. If you cannot do that, sit down, take some time to pray, to seek God for clear direction. And ask God, hey, work on me, because if I'm supposed to be here, work on my attitude while I'm here. Because I'm going to tell you, wherever we go, we take ourselves. So, you're going to see the situation again. You can go to a small ministry and you can go to a large ministry, and you will still see the same type of person, same type of personality, same type of spirits at those ministries. It doesn't matter. So God is really trying to work on us. We're still talking about becoming a student, all right? So knowing the heart of your pastor, the heart of your pastor is very important. Knowing the vision of that house and being able to carry that out in music ministry, okay? All right, next, I want to talk about, and this is something that we don't do a lot in our churches. How many of you have gone to school for whatever it is that you do in ministry? All right, couple of us. All right, don't be afraid to go to school. It's okay. It is okay. Say it's okay.
It's okay.
And I want to say that because in times past, some people are like, well, I've waited too long. It's never too late. It is never too late. It is never too late. I don't care how old you are. It doesn't matter. You can be 10, you can be 65, 75. All you have to do is really have a heart that's open to learn and to receive, right? Okay? And one of those things, when you go into school, it's going to be challenging. When you start something that's new, that you haven't done, it's going to break you out of your comfort zone. It's going to put you in a position where you're like, God, can I really do this? And God is saying, yes, you can. It's okay. Challenge yourself. So if you want to go for voice lessons, go and do it. Do it. If you are a singer, because church singing is like some of the the singers can sing, but I promise you, if you learn the techniques in school, you'll find out that we're doing a whole lot of stuff wrong.
That's right.
And so what they'll do in school when you go get your classical training, they will tell you how to approach certain notes. You know what I'm saying? How to approach your highs and how to approach your lows and all that kind of stuff. And that's okay. Musicians, you got to learn theory. It kind of irks me when I'm talking to a musician and we can't speak the same language. I'm not saying that I know everything or you have to know everything or whatever, but we need to speak the same language. Like, an A needs to be an A and not an E. You know what I'm saying? We need to speak the same language. A minor is not A major. We need to speak the same language. But you're not going to know that if you don't study theory, right?
Right.
We got to do that. We won't necessarily teach this in church, but I'll tell you something. I was going to Georgia State. That's where I did my undergrad. I was in the music program initially when I started. All right? The first 2 years that I was in the music program, I could only take the basic courses because I could not pass my audition. They didn't care how good I played by ear. I had like 3 years of formal training when I was a little kid. And so they didn't care how good I played by ear. They were like, you need to read this music on level 6 before you can get into the music program.
That's real.
So I was like, Lord, I'm going to do this. Like, I already taken my core classes. I'm just wasting time and money. Now I was on the Hope Scholarship, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I can't keep taking electives now. I need to get into my major. So I changed my major to managerial science, whatever. But during the course of the time, I went back and started studying theory and started reading more. Because I was not going to allow that to stop me. Funny thing is, one of our musicians at the church, he goes to Georgia State, and he just graduated with his undergrad in jazz studies. He calls the church band to come and do his senior recital for him. So I'm going back to the school that didn't let me in the music program to do a jazz senior recital in front of professors that didn't allow me to get into the music school. When they saw me, they was like, I remember you. Because they couldn't, you know, somebody keeps failing the audition, you never forget them, you know what I'm saying?
Cut it out!
You never forget them. They remembered me. And they were like, wow. And I said, oh God. I went back and I studied how to approach reading music and stuff. So I did not let that stop me, and then I'm going back to the same folks that wouldn't let me in. They tell me now, you can come anytime. I don't have time to go right now because ministry keeps me occupied. But if I want to go, it's good to know that I can.
Yes, that's right. Amen.
So I'm saying, don't let the thought of going to further your education keep you from progressing. If you're on the sound team, look, church sound, y'all stop just cutting the power on and cutting the mics up with no understanding of what you're doing. Go and study that stuff. Listen, it is so aggravating, like when you come in and you're like, you keep having to tell the sound man the same things that you told him 10 years ago. Like, sir, ma'am.
You're fired.
Yes. Come on. Listen, church doesn't have money to waste. Most people on churches now are on paid staff. Like you're getting a stipend for what you do. Most churches, in Atlanta, we have to, or you won't have nobody. Let me just say that. I don't know where it is.
Cut it out!
But so I'm very conscious of the money that our church has to put out. I talked to my mother. I said, listen, we got to do something. Sister Sharika works with our team too. One of the choir directors. I said, we got to do something because it's a waste of money. Sound men not coming to rehearsal, just showing up on Sunday morning. That has to stop. That has to stop. You need to come. If you're the sound technician, come to rehearsal.
That's right.
That is important. As a matter of fact, if service, whatever your call time for service is, for the team to be prepared, y'all need to be in place. Not if service starts at 10:30, running in at 10:35. No. That's not okay.
That's right.
Running in at 10:30 is not okay.
That's also true. Amen.
Prepare. Let's offer God an excellent service.
That's right.
Yep.
Dancers, same thing for y'all. Oh, I got this dance. I'm just gonna flow in the spirit. No, listen to the words so that your movements make sense. I've seen some stuff, and I'm just like, wow, becoming a student for the love of music, becoming a student of the gift. We've got to take our gifts that God has given us seriously. God is going to hold us accountable. What did you do with the gift that I've given you? He's not going to do the work for us. We've got to do some things ourselves. You're empowered, especially if you got the Holy Ghost. So you're empowered to do it, but you got to go out there and do it. There's no sense you saying, God, bless me with a greater anointing, bless me. But you sleep all day. You won't get up and practice. You won't get up and pray.
That's right.
You won't take instruction from anybody. Matter of fact, tell yourself, I gotta have a teacher. I have to have a teacher. There should be somebody, even if you are the best in your area, that's the problem. That's the problem. Anytime you're the best person in the room, that means that you have not challenged yourself. You should go to some places where it makes you feel uncomfortable because like the people around you are like so much greater than we are.
That's right.
And it's not to scare you, it's to help push you to be better. That is so important. How many of us are willing to step out of our comfort zones and say, you know what, I'm going to go put myself in some arenas that I know will help me become better? Gotta do it. We have to do it. So once you come out of your prayer, you can't just stay in the prayer room. You gotta go and invest in yourself. Study it. Set yourself around people that are better than you, that will challenge you. And they'll say, hey, Carma, don't approach that like that. I have people that tell me that all the time. And I said, thank you. Help me. And I get it. Don't be afraid of that. Video ministry. I already told y'all the internet is not friendly, so be mindful when you're working on the video ministry because you put your church character and reputation like on the line for anything that goes out on streaming. So it is very, very important that the AV ministry, those that work on that ministry, that you understand everything possible about media, social media. It's deeper than just cutting the camera on. You need to understand the social media aspect of it. Because I promise you, something goes wrong in your church, it's going viral. Because you can't really control. There are some churches that say, okay, no cell phones and stuff in here. That doesn't really work too well. People will record it and they'll bless your ministry and they get paid to bless videos like that.
That's true.
So ask yourself, are we putting out a quality product? Something that will honor God. Not only something that will honor God, something that you can be proud to have your name attached to. There's certain things I don't want my name attached to. Because I know who I am in Christ. And that should be the same for us. So if you look at your church's stream and you say, hey, we got some kinks we got to work out. Don't be afraid when people comment on your stream and say, hey, this is not right. Listen to them. They're watching it. Constructive criticism is okay. I watched the stream from the convention. So many comments. You're going to get so many comments. You get tons of comments. But praise the Lord, sir. One of the things that you have to do is if people say they can't hear, go back and fix it.
Right.
See what you can do.
Right.
Don't ignore that.
Right. Don't
Because you have some people, I'll tell you this, we have some people that don't come to our churches, but because of media and technology, they'll pull it up on the stream. You'll notice your church attendance isn't as popular as it was back in the day. People have options now. They can't go other places. So we have to make sure that we're presenting the best service that we can and honoring God and put whatever we're putting out there represents God well.
Amen.
We cannot just turn on the power and hit record anymore. No, have some practice time. I told the AV team at our church, we're not doing announcements no more, video announcements, until y'all come to rehearsal. And I was not playing about that. And guess what, Sharika? Have we had any video announcements? I cut it out for the last 3 months. And I'm going to tell you why. Because every time we got ready to hit the video announcements, they looking for the play button and all this kind of stuff. Like, you should know this. No, this is it messing up the worship time. No, we're trying to be better and y'all want to get it right. So no, we're not going to do it until y'all come to rehearsal. And it takes time. Me and another guy, we do the videos, the media videos. It takes time to do those.
Yes.
You don't just do them in 5 minutes. No, I can literally spend a day just to do 5 to 7 minutes worth of video announcements. Editing and all that kind of stuff and the whole Adobe Creative Suite, all that. It takes time. That's after recording. It takes time. So I told them until y'all come to rehearsal and y'all sit and we walk through this together to see how we're going to do it. We're not going to do it because we cannot keep misrepresenting God every time the announcements come up. Y'all looking like, oh, we don't know who we supposed to do. No. Hey, Dad, that's my dad, y'all. I'm just being myself. That's my dad. He just came in. I feel a little bit better now. All right. Same with any ministry that you work on in church. Be willing to study it. I keep saying that because it is so critical in our churches today. It is so critical. You know, we can go. Matter of fact, what Jake's puts on for his pastors and leaders conference, as much as our people go and attend those things, we should be able to bring some stuff back to our churches and then be able to put on a similar conference where people are coming to our ministries to say, hey, I want what y'all got.
Amen. Yep.
It shouldn't be where if somebody comes to your church, they're like, wow, they still doing that? No, we've got to advance. Let me tell you, the world out here is becoming, they're becoming so, like, church is so foreign to them now. They don't even believe God is who He is. And we're not giving them much of a reason to believe who God is. Because of the presentation that we're putting out.
Right.
That's right.
Amen.
You know, like, I mean, are we really trying to seek God and seek His methods and seek His strategy for operating in the ministries that He's called us to? There is a strategy for everything that we do in ministry. There's a strategy for musicians. There's a strategy for singers. Strategy for the dancers. Strategy for the sound and the AV team, video team. There's a strategy. Are we seeking God like that? That's very, very important. What was the first scripture that I gave you that I told y'all I want y'all to remember? First what?
First Chronicles 16:11.
Seek the Lord and His strength and His face continually. Seek the Lord and His strength and His face continually. That is so important. Because there's some people that have the talent and they have the skill, but they don't have the heart, they don't have a relationship with God. That, if you don't have the relationship with God, that's like a big, it's going to really put you in a stumbling block. Because your gifting and your talent can be taken just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. I've heard stories. A profound musician told me one time he got so caught up in his gift. I told us at the beginning, you cannot love the gift more than you love the giver. Got so caught up in his gift that he got on an organ one day and could not remember how to play anything. Could not remember how to play anything anymore. Just like that, God had taken it from him. This is the late, great Craig Tyson. He told me this. And he said, Carma, he said, from that day forward, I repented to God. And I was like, you know what? My gift is not my own. It belongs to you. Yes. He said, so whatever you do, he says, do not forget. Do not forget God. Do not forget God gave you the gift. Don't forget God gave you the gift. Don't become so arrogant. Don't become so cocky. to where you feel like it's all about you. If you don't remember anything else, I pray, because my time is coming to an end. I'm going to open up for questions. We only got an hour and comments. I pray that, something I said will have blessed you in your ministries. Today, I pray that as you leave here from the convention, you'll go back to your ministries and you'll see what you can do to better enhance your ministry. Do an analysis. Find out what your strengths and your weaknesses are. Every ministry has strengths. Every ministry has weaknesses. Then you have do a SWOT analysis. You got threats. And then you got opportunities. Do that. Do that for your ministry so that you can see where can I improve? Because you talk about becoming a student of the gift. Well, you got to do that. And you have to be honest with yourself. Be honest where you're at. Okay? And for some of us, when we write those things out, when you do your SWOT analysis, you're going to be like, wow, I didn't realize we were that far off. And that's okay. It's okay. We all have room for improvement. We will never get to the place where we are just completely satisfied. As long as Jesus delays his return, we're still going to be working to improve and enhance the gift that he's given us. There's always going to be room for growth and opportunity, better opportunity, okay? And let me say this, because I got to say this to musicians, even anybody that's getting paid for what you do, even if the money is not right, make sure your heart is right.
That's it. Right.
Everything that we do as unto the Lord. There are some opportunities where the money may not be right, but you may not know what other doors may come as a result of you going forth, operating in excellence and giving your all. So don't slight opportunities or even turn down opportunities because you say they're not paying me this and that. You don't know what God's going to do for you.
That's right.
You don't know who's watching you. And let me tell you, somebody is always watching. Somebody is always watching. They're watching how you carry yourself. They're watching how you respond to certain things. And believe me, people know when you're underpaid. They know it. They know when they underpaid you. They say, you know what? We wish we could do more. But we thank God for you. God bless you, daughter. God bless you, son. They know. He's going to bless you richly, right? They know. But don't slight the opportunity because you never know what God is doing even in that, okay? All right? Any questions? Yes, sir. And tell me your name.
Miguel.
Okay, I may not remember that because there's so many people here, but I got you.
That's fine.
Okay, cool.
So I guess my first most prevalent question is when you were talking about taking your teams out to different workshops and conferences around to better your team, I guess I have this apprehension to that because I know my leaders are going to be questioning what is the spirit of that conference, or if it's secular, we don't want our teams to get that kind of influence and bring it back into the church. So for one, how do you approach, okay, we want to improve our team, but our leadership is kind of hindering that improvement?
All right, so first things first, you definitely can't do anything without the approval of your leadership. So that's number one. What I would do is make sure that you have all of your information and put it in a proposal. For them to see who's putting on this conference, what this conference is going to entail of, how it's going to benefit the ministry, okay? If your team goes. Because there may be some conferences that may not necessarily be church-driven, but they're secular in nature, and I don't mean I'm not talking about 2 Chainz secular. I'm just talking about they just cater to people in a certain industry. You got me? And that may be what your church needs, just to get the basics down. But then there are also some conferences that cater to ministries too. But you got to know the spirit of your house. If your leadership won't allow you to go to those secular conferences, you know what I'm talking about, then you have to get that out of your mind, get it out of your spirit. But have some other options that you can present to them. This is a conference that supports church media, okay? And this is where we are as a church. And this is what we can benefit from going to this conference. So can you check this out? Can we talk about it? You know what I'm saying? Always do it in an honorable manner or whatever. And just like kind of hear them out, but also be prayerful and ask God to give you the words to say and how to approach your leaders. Every leader is different, so I can't tell you how to approach your pastor or your senior leadership, but you be prayerful about it. You have a relationship with them. Right. Okay. All right, cool. So you be prayerful about it and ask God to give you the right words to say. With that, I see your hand, sir. All right, got you. And that, go about it that way. But don't do anything. Even if they say, well, not right now, hold up. Because not right now doesn't mean that we can't do it. Sometimes they're just not ready yet and in that place, and that's okay. God will bless you better if you be obedient to the leader. All right? Be obedient to the leader before just stepping out on your own. All right? Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Cool. Sir, in the back, Miguel. All right, sir, in the back, what's your name?
Stuart.
Oh, what? Okay, my daddy's name is Stuart. Okay. And my brother, yeah. And my grandfather. And my great-granddaddy. Everybody is Stuart. You heard my daddy's Stuart. How do you spell your name?
S-T-W-A-R-D.
D? Okay. Cool. All right.
I want to say I really appreciated the comment that you made about musicians and even praise and worship leaders connected with the pastor's heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was always taught that the pastor is the chief praise and worship leader and musician when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to that. So sometimes like there is a disconnect when it comes to that. Like they don't sit down. So like how do musicians and singers connect with the pastor's heart and vision, and how do they translate that in song or in music?
All right. You're not going to like my answer. All right. Musicians, praise and worship leaders, those that operate in ministry, first, you need to be at anything that your pastor is teaching at. Anything. When prayer services open up, if you're supposed to be there, you need to be there. Bible study, ministry training. We have ministry training for our leaders. You need to be there. It's not optional. Because there are things that the pastor will impart in those sessions to the leaders. How are you going to know his heart? He's going to speak it. You're not going to just pray, oh God, give me the pastor's heart. No, you need to hear his voice. He's going to talk it. He's going to speak the vision out for the house, but you have to be there to hear it.
That's good.
So, making your teams accountable, when we have ministry training, prayer, and Bible class, y'all need to be here Sunday morning. You won't get it. It's deeper than that. And then it's okay for the music ministry to make an appointment with the pastor to have some private time where you can just talk one-on-one with the pastor to find out what it is that he wants. How are we doing, Pastor? What would you like to see happen in the ministry? That's okay. Do that. Okay? Because it's very, very important. I guarantee you, if we get on one accord, that way we'll see our worship services flow so much better. People really will get saved in our services. We'll see the healing transpire, the deliverance and stuff. That's very, very important. Does that make sense? Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I want to softly suggest that maybe within the body, like PAW, use your resources in there, within that, so that if Sister Carma has gone to that secular side, she may be a conduit of filter, because it's going to be pure if it comes from her. So your pastor may agree to bring someone like Sister Carma in. And also, if I may softly suggest that there be somebody from this team at any service that involves music ministry. I was in with the young people last night, and I stayed with the young musicians for a few minutes to ask them to read the service. They got in this loop of playing the same pass over and over. There were kids all over the altar crying out to the Lord. They missed a moment, but for the lack of knowledge and understanding and the resource of the well of enough music, knowing enough music, because they know the bump. They were excellent on the bump. But when it came time to minister, then it became a problem. It was just a mix of the atmosphere. And so someone like yourself within the PAW body there are a myriad of great musicians, writers in this body that can be a filter into your church, and it would be pure, Pastor.
Yes, ma'am. Speaking of, Minister Faith Davis, y'all, back there, she has a conference that she puts on for Levites. Phenomenal conference.
Yes, it is.
Phenomenal conference that will be excellent for your ministry to go to. I can speak on, I've been to them, and I need to go back.
Yes.
I had scheduling conflicts and haven't been able to go recently, but they are amazing. Amazing. Like when I talk about it puts things back in perspective for each and every person on your team. Like you go to these conferences, self is completely down. It's all God being glorified and just impartation like on a whole nother level. So, sir, you want to connect with Mr. Faith too.
Right.
Awesome. Let me see. Thank you. There's something else that I wanted to say before it leaves my mind. Oh, yes. Always be willing, when you're becoming a student of your gift, whatever you practice is what you're going to put out. Okay? What I mean by that, I have my own private worship, private devotion time where it's just me, my keyboard, and the Lord. And it's unscripted. It's just that time, that intimate time that I can have with God. We all have to do that. Singers, sometimes God's just going to give you a song that nobody's heard of before in your private time. Dancers, He's going to give you movement, liturgical movements that will glorify Him, that will shake the foundations of the nations, that will bring healing. So, men, practice. Put on some worship music and just go to the church, wherever you go, your studio. Practice tweaking the sound and stuff. It's okay. Whatever you practice, same for video team. Whatever you practice is what you're going to execute. Okay? Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Tell me your name.
Renee.
All right, that's my middle name. Good name.
Oh, wow. I got it. Oh, wow. There's hope for me.
Yes,
No.
ma'am.
You were talking about the education. You saying it's not too late. I know one time I considered going to get voice lessons because I never went to college. I just made it to high school. But my mom gave me an option, and I forgive her for it, but she should not have. She should have said, take yourself to college. But she said, well, you've been in school 12 years, so if you want a break, you can. That was wrong. But anyway, I attempted to do that. And they make you do all this other stuff instead of going, like, I just want the voice lessons. Why do I have to take math and English and chemistry and all that just to do?
Well, in your case, you can just look up a voice coach. And then that way you don't have to go through that. But the school system, they have their standards that you can't bypass those core classes. They're like, it's the industry standards and the school standards. So, like, if you go for a degree, in your undergrad degree, you're gonna have to take your English, history, math, science before you can get into like the major classes. That's just part of the structure of that. But find you a private teacher that can teach you, and then you won't have to do that. You're still being educated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's ways around that.
And I'm like, Sister Minister Faith,
Mm-hmm.
I would really hope maybe sometime in some of the conferences, like if they would have like a voice conference where,
Yes, ma'am.
because I have heard some phenomenal tenors in the choir. And I appreciate Lady Reese, what she said yesterday, when she said, don't think that your voice is less because you're not on the front row. It's not about the front row. But I hear some phenomenal tenors. And another thing I learned is I'm learning how to blend, because Sister Sharon will tell you, in our ministry, it's like, I'm like the loudest tenor. And I'm like, if I quiet down, then the director say, you're not singing, but I'm not blending with them. You know, but hearing the choir, the international choir, phenomenal tenors, and I am so impressed with you, Lady Reese, the lady that did the Jesus Only song, the other young lady. I'm like, wow, their voices, they could do soprano, alto, and tenor. How do they do that? I would love to do something like that. I mean,
now most of them didn't go to school. I can tell you that God just blessed them. Some people have like the gift, just got it, and that's okay. And then others got to go and study and improve it, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It don't matter how you get it, as long as you get it.
and that's where that scale stuff come in. That
Yes, ma'am.
you learning.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Oh, Miguel, before I get you, because okay, sister right here.
Okay, yes. Sister, something that I'm in sort of a position where it's difficult for me to go back to school, but for a different reason. In California, you can't get into any of the state universities right now if you already have a bachelor's degree in something else.
Okay.
So something that I thought about doing, I haven't started it yet, but I might do it if I really can't get back in school, is kind of like look up what would be the classes that I would be taking if I could get into the music degree program. What are the textbooks that are used for those classes, and just get the books.
That is true. And it was funny that you said that. I was talking, my dad was talking to me about going to seminary, and I was like, the money that I gotta pay to go to seminary? And I said, I could just look up the course schedule and buy the books and read, because that's all I'm gonna do in school anyway. So if you wanna do that, that's fine. But I do not do that.
The one thing that would be missing from that, of course, is being able to do work and submit
Yeah.
it and get feedback, especially
Exactly.
if I went back to school, I would probably be trying to be a composition major, and it's not the same,
Exactly.
but it's something.
Yep, yep. You, Stuart, and then Miguel. I got you, Stuart.
But to answer the question on the college courses, there are some courses, because I used back at home, I'm connected with community colleges there, and some of the community colleges, and even universities, they do offer audited classes to where it's for the general, like either like general public or for just general music in general, because some of the courses are specific towards music majors, and so you do have to meet a certain audition criteria, especially after like sophomore candidacy. But when you do like general music, and then some music professors even have private studios. So it's not for you to just go to like the music building, talk to them about general courses that you can just pay straight out, that you can schedule like weekly lessons, or like they have private summer studios, what we call voice studios, over the summer to where they can do summer intensives that can help you out as well.
Thank you, Stuart. That's good information.
Thank you.
Good. Any other questions? Let's see. It is 2 minutes. Yes, yes. That's all I have. Yes. Oh, Miguel and then the young lady you met. Yes.
How do you personally handle situations where you have a musician that you personally know and you have a relationship with, but their heart is not right, and you have to go with a stranger whose heart is right? How does that work after the session?
All right. So I've dealt with that before. All right. I would rather go with the person who I know's heart is right. I promise you, God will bless you if you do that, and God will bless them too. I had a situation personally where I had a person whose heart wasn't right, like you're speaking of, and it just kept tugging at me, and I was like, I gotta figure out a way to get this situation under wraps, and I did. The Lord blessed me to get rid of them. And I don't mean rid like that, but I had to do it.
Cut it.
Because it wasn't working for our ministry and for where we were. And when you bring people on, like you want to make sure they have the heart of your. First, they need to be saved. You know what I'm saying? You bring people on that's struggling by the way, you're gonna feel it. Don't do it. Take it from experience. I don't care how bad you need that position feel. Don't do it to your ministry, okay? But for the person that has the heart, as long as they're teachable and coachable, God can work with them. All right? Matter of fact, my go-to musician for Sundays, is now full-time at another ministry when I'm not able to be there. And so I had a situation, I had to call somebody to fill in at the last minute. I know the guy, but his plane is not where I would like it to be. But when I tell you his heart is the bomb.com towards the Lord. Like, he really, really loves the Lord, and he's willing to learn, and he's teachable. It may take him a minute before he gets it, but he has that heart, and he has the desire to do better. So I had to break down and go with him because I was in a rut. And God blessed him. I was scared of rehearsal. I called the director. I said, listen, we have band rehearsal, we're struggling right now. I need you to pray. And she did, but come to find out, everything worked out fine. And not only that musician, he even went to the pastor and was like, I just want to let you know that I really enjoyed the ministry or whatever, I enjoyed the message that you preach. You don't hear that from musicians that you just bring in to fill in. 9 times 10, they don't need to listen. They're just like, I'm here to do the job, give me my check after service.
Cut it out.
Yeah. So go with the person that has the heart and the desire, because you can work with that. But when they don't have the heart, you're setting your ministry up for disaster. Don't do it. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Carrie.
Hey, Carrie.
Two things. One is a comment regarding the voice lessons. I went to school for music, and my concentration was voice. And one thing that I can share is that when I grew up singing in the church, and when I first went to voice lessons, it was a struggle for me. And I had to unlearn everything that I had been doing. I could sing real good, but I had to unlearn everything that I had been doing, go through that process with going back to church Sunday morning, and then on Monday, I had to go and reposition my brain and my voice to sing classical. So I did that for like 6 years straight, going through, and then it was like that balance. I had to find that balance between the two that I could use and pull from school to use in ministry. So it's just about that, just having that balance, knowing what to do, when to use, and what, like, just creating good habits
You're
from
right.
what we learn. And so it's like patience. There's times where I just wanted to stop and quit and be like, you know what, later than this. But I knew that God had a call on my life, and I had to go through that. So be encouraged for anybody who wants to do voice lessons. And now myself, I'm a voice coach. So,
good.
And another thing is, so if you are seeking voice lessons, if you can't find anybody in your area, you can always, there's so many, the technology and social media, people do stuff online, people do all kinds of things. People get creative with it.
If I can ask one that, when you go to like YouTube or whatever and look up, things about vocal instructions, you look at 10 different teachers, they're telling you 10 different things that they say is the way. So what would be really great would be if you or somebody could make a recommendation, because I come away from that feeling really confused. And I would love to have something that I could recommend to my choir, say, this person right here.
Stick to, I would say, rather than doing the YouTube videos, I actually find somebody who does videos, lessons on video, like one-on-one, like FaceTime lessons, like one-on-one, like you can actually have an actual conversation and talk back to them, like in real time.
And then I would just pass that on too.
Yes, and then my question for you
Yes,
is,
ma'am.
you mentioned, I think, an acronym SWOT.
Uh-huh.
What does that stand for?
All right, so SWOT, your strengths, W, weaknesses, O, opportunities, T, threats.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. My time is up. It is 12:05. I want to thank you all so much for attending on today. You all have been a wonderful, amazing audience. If you have any questions for me, you can hit me up. You may not hit me during the convention because they got my schedule pretty crazy, but you can find me on social media, Instagram at Carma Reese, CarmaReese, or Facebook. Carma Reese, all right? I think I look like myself on there, maybe. So you can send me, inbox me, and I'll be more than happy to talk with you and help you grow in ministry. We can grow together, okay? All right, love you guys. God bless you all.